Your screensaver should be you and your hand.
I'm ready.
You're ready.
Yep.
Oh, it's order. Hi, it is 8:30 a.m. So I'm going to call to order our Economic Development Committee for Tuesday, February 18, 2025. And can I get a roll call?
Yes, Chair you,
Here.
Vice Chair Glassy.
Here.
Member Rutledge.
Here.
Member Eckhoff.
Here.
Member Childress.
Yes.
And Member Heather.
Great. We have quorum. So I'll start with my remarks, which are a little bit longer than typical. So first, I just wanted to let you know that we are monitoring our federal dollars, and that's still ongoing. The rescission of the executive order expires on March 14, and this means that working at DuPage can continue to draw down federal funds until then, but we're not sure what happens yet after March 14. But Lisa and her staff at working at DuPage will keep us updated. Thank you, Lisa. And second, I also want to mention something that Lisa Shabak had brought up at the end of our last Economic Development Committee meeting on March 20th. Please mark your calendars. On March 20th at Work at DuPage, we will have our first quarterly industry meeting called the DuPage County Vision Series. And we will start with the manufacturing industry to hear the state of their industry and how we can enhance workforce development specifically. Members of the committee will be invited, and I hope you'll be able to attend. I think there will be a flyer eventually, so we will pass that out, send that out to you guys when we have it.
You have a time on that?
March, I think it's going to start in the morning, Lisa.
Yes, the reason why the flyer is still not ready is we're still kind of tweaking this. So we're planning on it starting at 8 in the morning and running until approximately 10. We've kind of scaled it back a little bit. So it should be 8 to 10 on March 20th at our office in Lyle.
Thank you. And then finally, today we'll be receiving a presentation from Beth Barchetti from DuPage Convention and Visitors Bureau regarding her annual resolution and funding for $50,000. Thank you so much, Eddie. She's also seeking an additional $50,000 for a ground transportation program, which will provide a valuable tool for hotels when competing for high-value meetings, events, and group business, and bring new dollars into DuPage. We'll be voting on the annual resolution and funding first, and then have a time of discussion regarding the ground transportation program. But first, I'd like to further highlight the work of Beth and her staff by mentioning a recent win for the county and DCVB. Many of you may not know about the rise in esports and e-gaming. Frosty Faustings is one of the largest esports gaming competitions in the country, with over 25 versions of esports games played. This event has occurred in DuPage for several years due to tremendous growth in the sport, both at the high school and collegiate levels. It was planning to leave to find a larger space outside of DuPage. So DCVB, who was already a partner in the event, not only stepped in to support with financial sponsorship, but also sourced rooms in other hotels in Lombard, Westmont, Oak Brook, and Oak Brook Terrace to accommodate their growth. These efforts resulted in this year bringing in over 4,000 people registered to the gamers, $2.2 million in economic impact to the county, and 3,400 occupied hotel rooms during a cold Thursday to Sunday in January, which is a high need time in the Chicagoland industry. So DCVB is in process to secure this event for next year, but to bring this event back, shuttle transportation will likely be needed to transport all the thousands of players between hotels and the airport. Again, this will be discussed towards the end of today's meeting, but I just want to congratulate Beth and her staff for their work with Frosty Faustings. Thank you. All right, so moving on, do we have public comment?
We do not.
And thank you. So we'll move on to the approval of minutes. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes from January 21, 2025? And I got a second from Member Childress, and I'm sorry, a motion from Member Childress and a second from Member Rutledge, was it?
Yes.
Thank you. Any discussion or changes to these minutes? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes. Thank you. For the incumbent worker training, can I get a motion to approve 250439 Dressical Electric Motors Incorporated? I received a motion and a second. Any discussion? Oh,
That'll just be placed on file.
oh, sorry. Did you have a question, Member Eckhoff?
Yes. We've had something like this for years, and I thought we used to get updates about after how many people got trained, after a year or two, how many people were still there, and blah, blah, blah.
Oh, so you're looking for like an update?
I can certainly put that together for whatever time frame you're interested in. These are the existing employees of the company, so we can circle back with maybe like last year's companies and provide a full update of that.
Yeah, it was like, how much money gets spent and how many people get trained and how much, are they still there? They take, give them leave or whatever.
A full summary, sure.
Yeah.
I can do it for years, really, if we want like 23 and 24 or something like that, 2023.
I just, we don't monitor that regularly on our own to see how effective the
I-
program is.
Yeah, I keep track of it. Yeah, so I can.
Yeah, if
I
you
can
could just let us
certainly-
know.
Sure.
All right, thank you.
Mhm.
I can remember, this is, Trustee Clark, electric motors, they've come last year, they come often for these, worker training.
They have used it, I think, once in the past, but we generally try not to approve companies in back-to-back years, just so that more companies can take advantage of the
Okay.
program, but they have used it, as has Pepperidge Farm.
Okay, okay. So going back, can I get a motion to, move and place on file? Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Approve and place on file 250439 Jessica Electric Motors, Inc. and 250518 Pepperidge Farm.
Second.
Bless you.
I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion or questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So passes. And so now we're going to move on to the presentation from DCVB, Beth Marquetti.
Good morning, everyone. Happy New Year, since I haven't been here. So new year, not new me, unfortunately. Same me, but really great success stories to tell you about with the DuPage Convention Visitors Bureau. Because there are new members here, I wanted to just take a few moments to talk about our organization. So if it's a little redundant, my apologies to the current members. So we are your certified Convention and Visitors Bureau that represents all of DuPage County. We've been in business since 1987. We were certified by the state of Illinois in 1989, which means we are eligible to receive the county dollars through a state grant through hotel tax that must be matched with local dollars. So thank you for your $50,000 because that helps us toward that match. We also receive our community hotel dollars as well. 18 communities that have hotel taxes also help us make that match. So thank you very much for that. I'm going to go to the next slide, please, and let's keep our fingers crossed that the video works. Maybe.
You tried it earlier and it worked then.
So just a real quick recap of some of the accomplishments for last year.
It's a little pixelated, but it was still good.
Yes, it was, for some reason up here it is pixelated, but thank you to all of you, including county ARPA money, which really helped move the needle on some of these wonderful success stories. We couldn't have done it without you, and you can see from our results, it's been an outstanding year. Again, this industry is second only to Chicago and supports 26,000 people employed. Thank you to Lisa Shabak, because we are always looking for more employees. We are a little shorthanded. I always like to tell people that even though our revenues are very, very good from hotel tax, that does not mean our hotels are profitable right now. They're still paying back debt service from when they were struggling during COVID. But there's lots of really great success stories to tell. Next slide, please. I think that was in the video, but again, it's a almost $2 billion business. We generate 4 million hotel rooms per year in DuPage County. That's one of the larger metropolitan suburban inventory of hotel rooms in the country, right here in DuPage County. And did I hear a little Michigan State cheer down at the end? Yeah, that's what I thought. And then member Honig is very familiar with our Lombard Cycling Classic. We have 3 of those 10 days of cycling here in DuPage County. So they tend to stay in our area, and we market it as the Triple Crown. So people love to get on that throne and put their crown on their heads. So next slide, please. I'm going to go through the different departments, marketing being the first. I'm not sure if this video is going to be pixelated, but we're going to give it a try. Marketing, sales, and then our sports commission. So let's try that one.
Paris is a dream come true.
I've worked for this.
Paris is going to be amazing.
There's the exclamation point.
What a performance! I'm just sitting here in awe.
NBC Universal's coverage of the 2024 Paris Olympic Games, brought to you by DuPage County, Illinois. Just west of Chicago, there's just more to do in DuPage County. Visit discoverdupage.com.
So those ads ran in the Midwest markets on Comcast prior to the Olympics. Unfortunately, you didn't get to see Simone Biles, go 12 feet in the air or whatever she does, but was really successful. And in fact, people visit our website within 10 minutes of seeing this commercial. I think it was about 38% of the traffic we had. So it was really, really great results on that. Next slide, please. So we're going to talk about sports. You saw a little bit of that picture there. We will be hosting several different adaptive sports. We do have sports in DuPage. Unfortunately, we don't have big mega complexes like our neighbors do, but there are some that are being built surrounding us, and we're hoping to capture those hotel rooms. Paula Deacon Garcia was at the wheelchair curling mixed doubles. We actually have a curling facility in Villa Park that suffered devastating fires and water damage and reopened in January. And we hosted the national governing body of wheelchair mixed doubles, both men and women and mixed. So those folks are on the way to the next Olympic Games. So really great. And then coming this fall, we have beep baseball. Visually impaired people can play baseball with the baseball that actually beeps. That's going to be generating a lot of hotel rooms. We have about 2,000 blocked. That is going to be playing in the Stewart Complex in Aurora, but then we get the hotel rooms. So we're okay with that. Next slide, please. In addition, we will be hosting in 2026 pro golf. So there are you can see NHL, NBA, baseball and hockey are all going to be doing like a world tour, and NHL is going to be playing here. They are playing at the Flossmoor Golf Course, which is a very prestigious course, but Burr Ridge, happy to say, got all the hotel rooms. They have about a $50,000 food and beverage minimum and about $150,000 in between room rental and hotel rooms. So it's okay if the event is outside of the county, but then we bring them here and they spend their dollars here. We're really excited about this. And we ran ads during Wrigley Field's, the outdoor hockey thing that was there. I can't remember the name of it, but thank you, Winter Classic. I appreciate that. It's probably right there. So again, that's going to be a really successful golf event, which we will be doing additional golf. Obviously, Greg and I will be working on 2026 President's Cup. And then this May, we are going to IPW, the world's largest travel trade show, to promote our golf packages. So yes, golf is alive and kicking, thanks to COVID, I think, but that's okay. You know, we are the outdoor spaces. Next slide, please. So just a real quick overview of the leads that our team books. And remember, we are an extension of the hotel's sales department. They work on the local business. We go further out and bring new opportunities here to DuPage. So that's a little snapshot of the sales department. I'd like to point out that we go with our Illinois partners. It's better to collectively market our area, but I will tell you, our sales team will lay down in the aisle at a trade show and not let people go by until they've talked to us. And then once they don't really know what DuPage is, but once we start talking to them, we can set up those site visits, and they're very interested because we are a safe, affordable alternative to downtown Chicago. Next slide, please. So while I said we were making a lot of money, our hotel rates are good, our occupancy is down. So what that means is there's fewer people in the hotels. That means there's fewer people in our shopping areas, in our restaurants, in our attractions. We did a focus group in January, and this is what our hotels told us. And I want to focus on item number 2, loss of guests. I fixed that guest services, like shuttles. So we lose a business to our airport properties because they're offering shuttle service. We really want to focus on that because I think that's an area that we can help support. I think the biggest thing is this is very small part of our business, but it's where we can make the most impact. Next slide, please, and you'll see. So why we're coming here today, why I'm coming here today is in 2010, I believe it was, Chicago got legislation passed that allowed an assessment on all cabs leaving O'Hare and Midway and coming to the suburbs. That little assessment, which added up to big dollars, $6 million, went to Chicago and Rosemont for them to steal business from DuPage County. They didn't used to care about the small pieces of business, but now they had incentive dollars to do that. Unfortunately, I wasn't the CEO at the time, so we didn't get into that bill. I don't know that we could have politically on that, but they now had a competitive advantage to us. Next slide, please. In response to that, we created a grant program. Since that time, 2016, when we launched that grant program, we processed 298 grants. I'm going to also have you look, we're booking through 2028. That's how our business runs. We will meet someone at a trade show. They might be circling 3-year cycles, East Coast, West Coast, Midwest. So 298 grants worth, we only spent $732,000 with an additional 146,000 room nights. This is how we help. I use the analogy since we just finished the Super Bowl. Our hotels are doing all the work. They're offering concessions. They're doing free Hilton Bonvoy points, whatever the case may be. And they're almost at the 5-yard line and they just needed to get it across the line. So this is where our grant program has been a huge success. Next slide. So we ran a lost business report for the year 24. You know, if you want to be in downtown Chicago, you're going to be in downtown Chicago. It's just the nature of the beast. But we think we can move the needle a little bit on that piece in the orange there. And then if you also look, Rosemont O'Hare, it's kind of far to the right on the 4th from the bottom. We've lost about $1 million in business there. And airport proximity, the 3rd from the top on the right, we've lost $2.4 million in business there. Why? Because again, those airport hotels are offering shuttle service. And even they are cutting back. It used to be 24 hours. They're stopping at 10 o'clock at night. It's just a really challenging to staff shuttle drivers. Yes.
This is somewhat off topic, but just curious, the canceled number, is that normal? That just looks high as a percentage of the whole pie.
It will be based on cancel could be for numerous reasons. The association might have decided they didn't have enough people. It could be that a family reunion got canceled. It could be that we didn't have the sports bid fee, all kinds of different.
Okay. Is that just kind of a standard percentage? Is that kind of your?
Unfortunately, yeah.
Just curious. Thank you.
And cancel also could be, well, we even have some fruitions that came from COVID even still. So yeah, it's unfortunate. Next slide, please. Good question though. So for the first 2 weeks of January, when we started talking about this, you can see the red piece there. We lost a huge piece of business that would have really moved the needle for us in January when we so desperately need those hotel rooms. $781,000 of business that we lost to Rosemont because of shuttle. Next slide, please. So this is where we really think we can work on this piece of business for shuttles. This represents 166 pieces, again, to Rosemont. So with some additional dollars, I think we can really move that to DuPage. Sorry, I lost my train of thought here. The airport proximity to Rosemont, Chicago, and outside of Illinois, we do lose business to surrounding states because they do have an incentive program. Whether we like to give incentives or not, other people are, so we need to be competitive. The other thing is, again, this represents a small piece of business. A lot of people don't ask for incentives, but when we can help, we want to. Next slide, please. So keep going. There's 3 pages of pieces of business that I would be able to book right now, should I have some dollars. I have spent and maxed my line item in my budget. And what I've told Chair you and Vice Chair Galassi is we cannot match a grant with a grant. So my state dollars can't be used. So I have to use local dollars. We have a budgeted finite amount. That money, as you can see, previously we were booking in 28. I'm out of money. So just giving you what other people are doing. Meet Chicago Northwest, which is our partners right to the north, are offering up to $5,000 off their master bill. Next slide, please. My colleague, Chicago North Shore CVB director, is offering $15 per room and then actually $10 per room to try to generate January through March business. Our hotels have asked us, can you hire someone just for January through March to help us? No, but I can offer you a bigger incentive during those times where we desperately need it. Next slide, please. So this is a snapshot of the year-to-date money. If you look at the DCVB portion, those are the dollars that we spent. Remember that this is actualized dollars that has been out the door. So in FY23, $51,000. If you look under that line item there, we only budgeted 30. So we were over budget, but that's okay. We found it because we feel so strongly about this program. Why we like this program is because the municipalities match. And in fact, if another competitive DuPage hotel is in the mix, we don't want to decide to compete against them. This is only if we're competing outside of DuPage County. So then we ask the municipality to put 100% of the grant in, and they do because they want to help their hotels. And we can show that, you know, for every dollar spent, they're making $5 on hotel tax. So it's a pretty easy ROI for them. I think that might be all of my slides. Next one, just in case. There we go. Questions on that? I'm respectfully asking for another $50,000 to help supplement that grant program.
All right, congratulations.
Thank you, Chair. I have actually several questions. First of all, I noticed your clicks through, I think on Facebook were 448%. How'd you do that?
We did a lot of sponsored campaigns and really saw a huge increase
That's a good
content. And we actually had some marketing dollars this year to really boost posts. Yeah.
Okay, then also, as part of Member LaPlante's Arts Initiative, they did study sports venues, and part of your presentation said that there weren't those big sport venues here in DuPage County, but they came back and said there was no market, I believe was the answer, or that wasn't worth pursuing? Help me out, Greg.
It was primarily due to the cost of land acquisition to construct said facility.
Okay.
Most of the land in DuPage County is privately owned, and the owners had better earning potential on alternative uses, because as Beth pointed out, that industry is so competitive. And oftentimes you have to kind of buy that business. So the landowner would have to sell dirt that a warehouse would value at $10 a square foot for $1 a square foot.
Okay.
As I'm sitting here listening, it really we're in DuPage with regards to sports venues, as our study showed. We're a victim of our own success
Yeah.
to a large extent, in that our land is so much more valuable for office, warehouse, industrial, housing.
And then
We need
conserve.
a good,
And
like a
conserve with
state
sports.
donation or something.
Oh, you have one more?
Well, I just want to say that as long as I've sat on this board, I think $50,000 that goes to Visitors Bureau for marketing is paltry. And I've always advocated, I've marketed a business for 33 years. If they don't know you're there, and based on the return that you showed us this morning, so I'm supportive of the additional money for the shuttles.
Great. Thank you. Yeah.
I just wanted to, weren't we also waiting to see what Aurora was gonna do
Correct.
with their facility? I was
And
that,
And New Lenox, both of whom have moved forward with those projects.
okay, I was gonna ask that question. So do you know a timeline of when those will be open?
Within the next 18 to 24 months.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
And you know what, I'm happy to take advantage of that, like I said, you know, if it's close by
Sure.
and New Lenox doesn't have hotel properties and that will help Naperville and Warrenville and, yeah.
Great. Okay. Okay, Member Honig.
Thanks, Chair Yu. So is it, to know the need for shuttle services, was this a collaboration, like, you know, being a part of the Village of Lombard? Is this something that you work with like the village managers to discuss with them, the businesses that want to come here and the hotels all in collaboration to know the different needs? Is that, and to kind of form your budget around that? Is that kind of what the numbers are?
Well, I wouldn't say necessarily the budget, but to come in with an ask
Yeah.
where we can demonstrate a good ROI on that. And again, the village managers are already feeling that they're putting in dollars. And so to have all of us pitching in, putting a little skin in the game, I think is very palatable.
Thank you.
Member Evans, you had a question?
Yes, thank you, Chair. My question is kind of pulling back from like a further view. Is this something where, like, I feel like there's always a new opportunity and there's always a need for dollars? But if we, and we always need the revenue for this. So when we're talking, you know, the chair, DuPage County Board Chair talked about putting a discussion on the agenda for us being home rule. Would that enable us to generate more revenue to support this? And if so, like, do we have a lot of hotels in unincorporated DuPage County? Would it only be from that? Is that
So
two?
home rule gives the board a lot more authority with any kinds of fees, charges. And I'm sure that there are components of this that home rule would allow the board to consider. Obviously bigger discussion out there, but before, you know, the one thing I did, because I have to head over to Public Works, I want to talk about a little bit about funding, because I know that may come up like, okay, where does 50,000 come from?
Right.
If that's a question, the board has three alternatives. You have ARPA interest available to you. You have the 2025 contingency money within the budget, and you have member initiatives. Probably the best source would be ARPA interest, I would think so. It aligns with what we've done previously, and that would be the recommendation. But you do have three alternatives for the 50,000 if the board would like
Talk
to.
about the deadline for spending and why.
Well, ARPA interest, the difference is, so ARPA interest, unlike our budget, you have more flexibility because it's not tied to a yearly budget. It is not ARPA proper, so you don't have the spend down requirements. We have a separate account of the ARPA interest out there. So it would give Beth and her team a little bit of flexibility for a longer runway.
Thank you.
So.
All right, so I just want to say thank you, Nick. Thank you so much to Beth for your presentation, to really be showing us exactly what you do for the county and to bring in the revenue and those new dollars, tourism dollars. I do want to move on to our resolutions, just so that we can get that done. We already lost member Childress. So can I get a motion on EDR 1-25, DuPage Convention Visitors Bureau Designation of Representation for Grant Purposes? And I did get a motion and a second for Galassi. Any discussion with regard to this? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And that passes. Thank you. And now I'd like a motion on FIR 40-25, annual financial commitment in support of the DuPage Convention Visitors Bureau for fiscal year 2025, $50,000. I got a motion and a second. Is there any discussion with regard to this item? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And that passes. And so now we're moving on to this discussion part, but we kind of had already had this discussion and thank you for, everybody's interest. Is there any other discussion with regard to, or questions for Beth or maybe for Greg, with regard to this ground transportation program before we take a consensus vote?
May I also say that this program is reimbursed if a group is needing the help. We do not pay out until they have come, and the hotel gives me a rooming list. So it's a risk-free program. And we do not, if they come in lower, we prorate, and we only offer the lower amount. If they go over, we still cap it. That's all we can do. So to me, why this program has been, again, very palatable for our municipalities and for us, quite frankly, is that it's a no risk. They have to come, and I have to have the rooming list in my hand before we pay.
Any questions? All right, can I get a consensus as to whether or not we want to move forward on this ground transportation grant program? Yep.
How much money are we talking?
50,000.
50,000.
Take it over.
I think we have consensus to move
Take it
forward.
over.
So this will be actually presented also in Finance Committee next week. Thank you, Beth.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Beth. All right.
Thank you.
And is there any old business? Seeing none. Oh, and I just wanted to mention that there was an article that was passed out to you and it had to do with Faustings. It was in the Chicago Tribune. So I just wanted to highlight that. Moving on to new business. Any new business? Yes, Member
Just
Gillespie.
following up, can we get just a quick summary of what exactly is being built in New Lenox and
Absolutely.
Aurora?
Sure.
Great,
Yeah.
just curious.
Forward it to the chair.
Okay, that'd be great.
Thanks. Thank you. Anything else for new business? Okay, without objection, we're adjourned. Thank you.